What's up, guys? Jonathan here with Woodsong Creations. Wanted to do a quick demo for you guys today on how I do my seashell pins. I make blanks with seashells, as many of you guys have seen. A lot of different folks make them. A lot of people complain about how hard they are to turn. They're hard on your tools. They want to fly apart and blow up on you, things like that. So I wanted to give you guys a quick demo and show you how I do them. Maybe it'll make it a little easier on you guys and give you guys some help getting a good finished pin with your seashell blanks. So obviously they start off like this. You drill them, you tube them, and you square your ends just like normal. The one I'm going to be turning today is actually this pink and orange one, and I've already got it prepped for you guys. So once you get it tubed, you'll want to put it on a belt sander and round those corners off on your edges there so you don't have any catches while you're turning these. Now we're not going to be turning these with standard turning tools today, and I'll show you guys what we're going to be using here. 90-degree angle grinder with a coarse pad, and then we may finish up with a more fine sanding pad on there. These are the Scotch-Brite, the 3M Scotch-Brite pads or whatever they are, but it's just a 90-degree angle grinder and air hose. So that's what we use. Use dust collection, and everything else is the same. You know, this does create a lot of dust, so if you have a dust collection system or a good vacuum that you can hook up to your lathe, that's going to help you out with this. So let's throw our PPE on here as always, and we'll throw it on the lathe. All right, guys, I like to run my lathe at about 3,000 or so, 2,800 to 3,000 RPMs when I'm doing this. But if you run it too fast, it takes a little longer. So let's go down to about 2,900, close enough. The one thing you want to watch when you do this is the rotation of the pad. You want it to throw the dust into your dust collection system. Otherwise, if you do it like this, it'll throw it back towards you. So keep it pointed in a direction where it's going to throw the dust towards the dust collection. And then you can start working your way around it. All right, so when you get down close to the bushings, as you can see, I've got it sanded down pretty close. It's sticking up just a little bit where you can kind of feel the edge on both sides. And you'll notice there's some little voids and things like that, which is just natural with the seashells. So what I like to do then is I take my color, take my powder, and I like to start to fill those holes. I'll just throw a little bit on there and kind of smooth it in, rotate around. Keep throwing some on there. Work my way around the entire blank like this. And then I'll come back and smooth it out with my finger, and it'll kind of press it down into some of those voids. There we go. All right. Then we'll come back with our finger and just kind of rub that in, press it down into those voids, and then we're going to follow that up with a coat of thin CA so that it penetrates down into that into the powder and gives us a good level surface again. Or it actually won't be level; it'll build the surface up a little bit, and then we'll take it back down to level with the blank, and you'll see how it looks here in just a second. All right, then we'll come back. Actually, I like to just give this a quick mist with the mercury accelerator from 10-12 inches away, just a little bit, just so my CA doesn't want to run crazy. But then I'll come back and just start working around the blank like this. And I like to actually touch the applicator to the blank so that it kind of agitates the surface of the powder that I just put in there, and it helps that CA glue to penetrate down in there. A little bit of a mess, but as you'll see in a minute, totally worth it. Alright, now once I get that done, make sure I don't have any holes or anything that I can see. Then come back with a good coat of accelerator while you rotate the blank by hand. And looks pretty good. So we'll let that sit for just a second. You might notice a couple of little voids in there. You can come back and put a little bit of glue on top of those if you want to, and hit it with another coat of accelerator. And you don't have to worry about it being uneven because we're going to turn this back down now that we've got these voids filled. One more coat. Now at this point, you can actually use your lathe tools to turn it back down flush if you want to. It's a little easier on that glue than the sander. And then we'll just finish working it down. Once we get it back, get the glue cut down level, get a good level blank again, then we can go back to the sanding pads and put our finishing touches on our edges and our bushings and get our final shape. So we'll let that dry for just a second, and then we'll continue on. We've got this thing turned down to where we want it. We're level with our bushings, and we're ready to start putting our CA finish on. I'll walk through that process with you guys too, how I do mine. Everybody does it a little bit different. But when I start up, I'll crank my lathe on, give it a couple of squirts of accelerator just to make it something good for the base to stick to. Bring my speed on my lathe down to about 2,000, 1,900 to 2,000, something like that. It's what works best for me. And then I'll start with a little bit of thin CA. Just rub it in like that and let it set for a second. Give it a quick squirt of accelerator. I usually give it about 7 or 8 seconds, something like that. And then come back with another coat. Give it a couple of quick coats like that. Accelerator. And then check it out. So we're starting to get a good base on there. And the more you build this up, there'll be some little bitty tiny surface bubbles and things like that from these seashells. Most of those get filled with the powder, but the CA, your finish, will fill the rest of those. So, and once you build that finish up, then you can level it back out, and you'll be good to go. And I'm going to turn my dust collection back on here just so you can see everything. Forgot to turn that back on. I typically do about 7 or 8 coats of the mercury depending on the pen. Sometimes I might use the medium, but typically I just use several coats of the thin, and that's all I've found that I need. I apply it pretty quickly. Again, let it dry for 8-10 seconds. Let's give it a quick look. We're starting to look pretty good there. A couple little places right there. One thing you can do to fill those is get the corner of your, and then just kind of squeeze it in. And turn your lathe on. Sand this back down, so if you get just a little bit uneven, that's okay. Not a problem. Starting to look pretty good there. So we'll hit this with, I like to use the turner's mesh. These right here. Works a little better than regular sandpaper because it kind of cleans itself out. So. My CA finish, I don't start with the most aggressive grit. I start with the next to the most coarse. Again, we're at about 1900 RPMs here, and then just start polishing it. See how I clean that out. It gets stopped up a little bit like that. You can just kind of tap it in front of your dust collection and it'll suck all that out of there. And then just work your way through the grits. When we get finished with the sandpaper, I like to use the zona paper. It works really well for me. Some people use micro mesh, some people use polishing paste, different things like that, but I prefer the zona paper. You want to check this as you work your way down. Make sure you're not polishing through make sure you're not sanding through the actual finish that you put on there. Again, I'm going kind of thin with this one, so I just want to be careful not to sand through it. Checking it often, and it's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to put another coat of CA on though after we finished up here, just to be safe. hit that with the last couple of sanding pads, just the more fine grit, just to make sure there's not any flat spots or ridges in it. And then we'll be ready for the zona paper. Looks pretty good. Alright, so zona paper. There's the zona paper, guys. This will last for a long time. There's a sheet of each grit in here, and there's 6 different ones, and this lasts for, like I said, I cut it in little strips, as you can see right there, and it'll last for a long time. So you just want to wet it. I usually keep a cup of water, and I'll just dip my zona paper into it as I polish. And there's the strips that I cut it into. So just start with the green and work your way through them. I'm being a little bit lazy. I'm not covering up my lathe with a towel. I normally do that, but I'll wipe it off as soon as we're done here. It'll be okay. Again, we're still at about 1900 RPMs here. I don't change through my sanding and polishing process. I like to keep it about the same, and that's just the speed that I've found works good for me. And just kind of work these until they start to dry out a little bit. Just, 20-30 seconds on each one, something like that, until it starts to dry out. Once you get the feel for this stuff, it's super easy, super quick. For me, it's quicker than the micro mesh, and it usually lasts longer because you can wash these out as well. You don't have to have a lot of water on it. It's just kind of a polishing pad, but a little bit of water on it, and then kind of switch over to the dry side. And that's it. You can see that shine. Alright, so we've got our parts finished up, and I've got them ready to press together. So we're gonna press them together and finish this pen up. So this is a navigator pen from Woodcraft. Got my handy dandy press here. There we go. There's the body, and then the cap. go. All right, guys, so here we are with the finished pen. This is the Navigator pen, as I mentioned, from Woodcraft. Chrome finish. And that's how we do our Seashell pens, or our Seashell blanks. That's how we turn them without getting any blowouts or without dulling our tools or any of that stuff. So, as you can tell, it's a good finished pen, no chip outs or any blowouts or anything like that during the process. This doesn't take much longer than a finished pen of any other type. I've got about 35-40 minutes maybe in the whole pen. So, and that's including my finish with CA and all that stuff. So